Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to my presentation. First of all, introduce myself. My name is Mohammad Ismail Hussain. My ID number is 17MKT074. Today's my presentation outline is introduction. What are the extraneous variables, type of extraneous variable, impact of validity, controlling extraneous variable, experimental design and statistical techniques. First of all, in introduction, I selected a title for the presentation, extraneous variables and their control in the experimental research. The validity of experimental research can be compromised by the extraneous variables, unintended factors that influence the dependent variables and introduce the confounding effects. That means extraneous variables, when a researcher make a experiment, he does not have any intent to get extraneous variables, but often it's come to in an experiment, but a researcher always try to reduce to extraneous variables to come in variables. In the experiment, an extraneous variable is any variable that are not investigating that can potentially affect the outcomes of your research study. That means a researcher doesn't have intention to get extraneous variables or investigating extraneous variables in their study. So there are many types of extraneous variables. Here I discuss the three types of extraneous variables. First one is participant related, like age, gender, education, personality, etc. Then second one is environmental. Environmental is lighting, noise, temperature, etc. So last one is procedural, experimental, design, instruction, experimenter, bias, etc. So let's see impact of the validity. So where extraneous variables are the additional factors that I said earlier, the extraneous variables is the additional factors that are not the main focus of the study but can influence the outcomes. It is not a main focus of study, but always it influences the study of experiment, so that they can lead to confounding, which undermines the both internal and external validity. So how to control the extraneous variable in study? So let's see randomization. Randomly assigning the participants to the condition to distribute external variables equally, then matching. So pairing the participants based on the specific characteristics. Counterbalancing systematic variation of experimental condition to eliminate the sequence effect. So last one is standardization. Using the consistent of procedural, instruction and environment across the contribution. So what is the experimental design of the extraneous variables? The single blind and the double blind procedures to minimize the experimental bias, crossover design to the refuted measure experiment, use of the control group and place bars. So now statistical techniques. When the study of extraneous variables, we have a statistical techniques like analysis of covariance to statistically control of extraneous variables. Covariate, a variable that is measurable but not the manipulated. So in conclusion, I can say the emphasis of the importance of controlling extraneous variables for obtaining reliable and valid experimental result. So in summary, what is the experimental key? Summarize the studies for the managing and minimizing the extraneous variables. So that's all for me. Thank you all.